This is page 124 of volume 3 of Mehera-Meher. With the men Mondal. So page 124 of volume 3 of Mehera-Meher. With the men Mandali, Baba was occupied with other, more serious matters. On 31 July 1953, he made some unusual remarks to the men about the state of the world. I feel that a lot of ups and downs will be experienced in the world. Tremendous upheavals will take place, and many parts of the world will be affected. This will be from natural and unnatural causes and will happen as a result of something small. If war breaks out, the disaster will be unprecedented. They will use atom bombs and deadly gases. If there is war and atom bombs are used, all nations will be involved or affected. There will be floods and earthquakes, and no remedy can be suggested for such calamities. "12 days later, Russia exploded its first hydrogen bomb. Shortly thereafter, on 2 August, after a cricket match with the Mandali, Baba commented on the spiritual situation in India. It is astonishing to find that India is said to be a land of spirituality, but in no other country is found such blind faith, superstition, and practice of religious ceremonies. Now think what people would say when I am considered a spiritual master if they found me playing cricket. I am now playing cricket and seeing films, which were not there in the days of Ram or Krishna. Now, after 400 to 500 years, people will say that Baba was the avatar, and so he could do that. He could play cricket. He could see pictures, as he was eternally free. Even saints and swamis of great repute would say the same if they were to see me indulging in such pastimes. But the Vedantists are quite well versed intellectually and should understand that perfection means in each and everything, all round, in the highest and the lowest, quite unique and above all. The West is supposed to be materialistic. Many of my lovers there take me to picture houses, cinemas, dress me finely. They never have thoughts which Easterners have. They take me as the spiritual master, 100% like Christ. They know how Christ behaved. And that's drawn from Lord Mayor Online, pages 3384 to 3385. In August, Baba began dictating his seminal book, God Speaks, and continued to do so for several months. On 13 August, he also dictated the Master's Prayer, and it was recited every evening for almost 3 weeks by the men Mandalay, with Baba taking part. At its conclusion, Baba would lay his head on the feet of each of the Mandali. On Zoroaster's birthday, 7 September, Mehera requested Baba to stand on a traditional decorated patla, that's a low stool, and she applied a birthday tika, or red mark, to his forehead. That same day, Baba dictated his well-known message, the highest of the high, clearly delineating his state as the avatar of the age, as well as the appropriate attitude for his lovers. And there's a picture of Mehera and Meher and Sheba. Again, the chapter's title is Sheba's Shenanigans. Oh, with Peter looking on. Picture of Mehera and Sheba and Peter. Sheba looks quite young there, like a little kid, a little horse, a little filly. Mehera and Sheba. Sheba's a big girl there, grown up, all grown up. It's 53 and 54. Hmm. Sheba has a kind of lightning strike white mark on her muzzle, or forehead and muzzle, and a blonde mane. Baba and Mehera with Peter at Mahabaleshwar, May 1954. Peter's grown up there too. Mehera's holding a black hat. Look almost like a top hat from here, but I don't imagine it is. Chapter 120, Public Appearance. Meher Baba and all departed Dehradun by train on 29 November 1953, bound for Mahabaleshwar. Baba would never return to Dehradun, and the two-way trip was also the last time, and the two-day trip was also the last time Mehera and the other women ever traveled on a train with him. And the sidebar says, it was also the last time Baba passed through Nasik. The women had stayed here twice before. That must be into the next paragraph. In Mahabaleshwar, the Aga Khan's bungalow, Florence Hall, was rented for them. Sheba was taken to Pune separately by train, accompanied by a groom and his wife, and then to Mahabaleshwar by truck. After the first 6 months, Meru clarified, there was always a groom to take care of Sheba. Mara said, "We put Sheba in one of the servants' rooms, as we wanted a door to lock her in. It had no steps, so it was easy for her to get into." Baba left almost immediately for Bombay, where he stayed for a week, contacting musts. He returned to Bombay at the end of the month for medical treatment. Even though Baba's health was not robust, he complained of weakness and was experiencing severe body aches. Preparations were made again for extensive darshan tours of Hamirpur and Andhra Pradesh. In Mahabaleshwar, meals for the Mandali were being prepared at the restaurant of an elderly man named Shahastra who sought and was granted an interview with Baba. When he arrived outside their gate, Baba was having lunch with the women, so Rano was told to escort Shahastra inside. Florence Hall had a longish driveway bordered by a short, broad wall, which was square and flat on top. As in Dehradun, the gate was barricaded with bamboo so that Sheba could not get out, but a small passage had been left for people to come and go. Rano and Shahastra stepped inside. Hardly had they walked halfway when Sheba saw the man and sauntered over. She knew he was a stranger and did not like it. The old man was nervous when he saw a tall, thoroughbred approach, but Rano told him not to worry. "She won't do anything," Rano assured him. "She's tame." They walked on. Sheba drew closer and closer, snorting in displeasure. Rano too became afraid. Maybe Sheba would bite the man, she thought. "Quick, climb up on the wall," she said. Rano climbed up first and helped Shahastra up. They had to balance along the wall to the house, Rano leading the way, careful not to fall off. Sheba walked next to them the entire way and then rose on her hind legs, preventing them from entering the house. Baba was watching from the veranda and wondered what they were doing. Although Rano and the old man were in trouble, it was a humorous sight. Mehera and the others were summoned, and Mehera led Sheba away. At the beginning of February 1954, Baba left for mass darshan programs in Hamirpur and was gone for 12 days. A week later, he left for Andhra, remaining away for 18 days. In between, on the 14th, the women celebrated Baba's birthday with him, with cake and a skit. While the men Mandali always had their hair cut by a barber, the women cut their own hair. Until now, Mehera had worn her hair long. During this period in Mahabaleshwar, she cut her hair for the first time, It was Goher who suggested it. It takes too long to open the hair and braid it every day, Goher said. Why don't you cut your hair? Every morning you spend so much time braiding it. It's such a nuisance. If it's short, it will be easy. Just a few clips. Mara thought that this was a good idea, especially since so much of her hair was falling out now. Although the braid was below her waist, it had become rather thin. Mara asked Baba, who said it was all right. We cut the braid, and it was so nice, Mara said. Seeing how much easier it was to take care of, Mara regretted not having cut it sooner. She told Goher, why didn't you suggest this before we went to the West? We could have done it in Hyderabad. After the accident, lying there all day, my braided hair got matted and couldn't be combed. It looks nice and fashionable like this. I should read the sidebar. It actually referred to the first paragraph, which I'll just reread. At the beginning of February 1954, Baba left for mass darshan programs in Hamirpur and was gone for 12 days. A week later, he left for Andhra, remaining away for 18 days. The sidebar says once, when the women remarked on the unique nature of the love of the poor people in Hamirpur, Baba observed, they love me from the heart with a simplicity that is unmatched. Whereas those in Andhra, although they love me wholeheartedly, do so from an intellectual approach. Baba had been invited to Sakori for the housewarming ceremony of one of Upasani Maharaja's close followers. On Friday, 19 March, Baba and the women were driven first to Bindra House, the Jesawala home in Pune, where women where the women were to spend several days while Baba was away. Baba left for Ahmednagar the same day and visited Sakori on the 20th. He returned to Pune that night and drove with the women back to Mahabaleshwar on the 22nd. Since 21 March was the Irani New Year, Baba permitted those at Bindra House to prepare a large vessel of faluda, the traditional sweet drink made on this occasion. A large ladle was placed inside the vessel to stir and serve the faluda, but Baba did not use it. Instead, he rolled up his sadra sleeve and stuck his entire arm inside the faluda, stirring it with his hand. Ercha's cousin, Dun Sata, objected. Baba, use the spoon, she said. Why do you put your hand inside? Baba said simply, keep quiet. At the time, Dune did not realize that God was giving them prasad, and his touch was something sacred. Baba handed Dune a cup, which she drank, though she was feeling ill at ease. When everyone had finished, Baba called Dune and refilled her glass. She protested, "Baba, I'm full. I can't drink any more." He handed her the cup anyway. She drank half, but poured the other half in the garden outside, little realizing its worth. And the sidebar says Baba and the women also visited Adi Jr. and Franey that day at their rented home in Wanauri. This was the same bungalow near the tannery that Baba and the women had occupied briefly in 1951. The night Baba returned to Pune, he took the women to see a late showing of the Danny Kaye comedy Hans Christian Andersen at the Empire Theatre, which all enjoyed. Papa Jessawala, Dune, Adi Sr., Jalbai, and Gustaji met them at the theater. Dune suffered with muscular dystrophy and had difficulty walking. Papa was badgering her, trying to get her to hurry up. When Baba walked over, gestured for Papa to leave, and then took Dune by the hand and helped her cross the street and enter the theater. Since Baba and the women always sat in the balcony section, and it would be difficult to take Dune upstairs, Baba told Rano and Meru to sit downstairs with her. And the sidebar says, in later years, one of Dune's favorite songs was I Walk with the King, because it reminded her of the day when she had walked with the King of Kings. Mehera, too, was fond of this Christian hymn. Mahabaleshwar, being a cool hill station, is a popular summer tourist destination. Baba stayed here with the women through the summer and allowed a few close lovers to visit, such as Arnavaz, Katie, Khorshed, his brother, Behram's daughter, Gulnar, Erch's sister, Manu, Meru's sister, Nagu, and her brother, Jangu. Because the women were confined to the house from morning to evening, Baba suggested, why don't you go out for a walk, wherever you like, or to different places? From their elevated perch, they had admired the lake, so they decided to go there. They changed their clothes. Gulnar was with them in the car. It was crowded, and she remarked, Kodai, meaning for God's sake. Why doesn't someone sit on my lap? It sounded very guttural and amusing in Gujarati, and Mehera teased her about it. Only a few people were at the lake. Rowboats were available for hire, and Mani approached the Zoroastrian proprietor, saying, "We would like to rent a boat, but we'll need a large one because all want to be together." "Then you'll want a person to row you?" the man asked. "Oh, no," Mani replied confidently. "It's not necessary. We know how to row very well." Baba had said that they could go rowing, since Margaret had taught them in Myrtle Beach. "We know rowing," Mani continued, "and besides, we're all women here, so we prefer to be alone." The boat was hired, and in they stepped. Before starting, Mani took a photo of the group. Mehera and Katie volunteered to row first. Then Arnavaz and Mani would take over. They started out sanguine and self-assured. The boat glided pleasantly to the middle of the lake. But when they came to a corner, they did not know how to turn. Mehera and Katie became agitated. Mehera said, "You're rowing too hard." Katie countered, "No, you are." "Lift your oar out of the water so I can row and turn the boat." Mani said, "Both of you mustn't row together. One of you must stop." Confusion and good-natured chaos ensued, everyone calling out suggestions at once. It was a very long boat, Meru remembered. All were shouting instructions, muddling the four rowers. Too many cooks spoil the broth. People on the banks turned and watched the commotion, but the boat did not turn. Mani had boasted that they knew how to row well, and now they were in trouble. With great difficulty, they managed to turn the boat and came back halfway. Mani and Arnavaz manned the oars. After a few minutes, another boat came in front of theirs. Mani stood up, waving frantically. "Move! Move over!" She knew that they would never be able to turn in time to avoid a collision. The people in the other boat looked at them strangely and then turned their boat so that Arnavaz and Mani could continue on a straight course. When they landed, Mani went to thank the proprietor. I thought you were going to be stuck in the middle of the lake, and I would have to send my man out to rescue you," he said with a smile. The women went to have cold drinks. When they returned, they narrated the entire adventure to Baba, who had a hearty laugh as he pictured their distress. Another outing was to the recently opened Shivaji Gardens. We saw an underground cave and a big tiger in the forest there, Mehera recalled. It wasn't a real tiger, but a stuffed one that was kept for tourists. It gave us a start. Baba told us to go out, so we wanted to make the most of it. We went to another garden also, which was full of beautifully colored flowers. We took some cuttings for the garden at Meherazad. We sat on a bench and again photos were taken. When we came home, we told Baba all about it. He was happy we had an excursion. Baba, too, sometimes went for a walk with us, Mehera continued. Baba walked very fast and climbed in Mahabaleshwar. After the first accident, a cobbler had made some soft leather walking shoes for him. Baba walked for miles. Once he went down a tiger path with thick forests on both sides. We followed. I felt a bit scared, but there were no man-eaters in Mahabaleshwar. In mid-May, Baba took the women to Bilar, a forested hill station between Mahabaleshwar and Panchgani, where they stayed for 3 days. The women had stayed here once before, in 1943, and ridden horses there with Irene Billow. The monsoon was approaching, and again Baba did not wish to stay for 3 days. No, sorry. Baba did not wish to stay in Mahabaleshwar during its heavy rainy season. Baba's longtime disciple, Ramju Abdullah, was living in the quiet town of Satara, and as instructed, he rented 2 houses there for Baba. Baba moved to Satara with everyone on 2 June. He and the women stayed in a bungalow called Grafton, and the Mandali were accommodated separately in Rosewood. Satara would become Meher Baba's residential headquarters for the next 2.5 years. Mehera liked it there. We had stayed in Satara a few times before. It has a good climate. It is not too hot in the summertime, so we were comfortable there. It was a nice place. Not so many Parsis or Westerners, just farmers, Indians. Our house was outside of town. We were secluded, with fields all around. One field was full of custard apple trees. A toddy plantation was also nearby, with lovely shady trees. Deb, are you up for reading? Unmute if you want to.
Yeah, sure, I'll read. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me put the old glasses on here. All right.
So top of 131.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Grafton was nice and quiet, although it was on a main road. We had beds to sleep in with mosquito nets. Baba's bedroom was conveniently situated with a separate entrance for the Mandali to come at night. It had a separate bathroom also. There was an orchard there with a good variety of mangoes. The house belonged to a wealthy Parsi. The Parsi caretaker had reverence for Baba and would salute him. Unlike Ahmednagar, rains were plentiful in Satara during the monsoon. Mehera was able to grow many things in her garden. Baba told me to garden, not to go to the kitchen, and she continued to help look after Sheba. In, in Satara, too, Sheba was very sweet with Peter, Mehera continued. But one day another dog came along from the neighbors. The other dog followed Peter into the stable. Sheba chased him out with her ears back. She actually wanted to bite him. That dog and Peter were good friends. They played together always. It was a very young dog of 8 months or a year. After Baba went to his room at 5:30 p.m., I, Mani, Meru, Urano, and sometimes Naja went out for long walks. Peter was also with us. We went by the other dog's house, and the dog growled at Peter. The next day, when this dog came over to our house, Peter growled at him. He actually stood over him and piddled. We later told Baba, who enjoyed it a lot. From that day on, the dog never upset Peter. So I guess it was Peter that peed on the other dog. Okay, on 31st August, Baba took the women to Pune for 2 days. They stayed at Bindra House again and went for morning drives with Baba. A new zoo, Peshwa Park, had opened, and they visited it one morning, strolling through its gardens. A week later, on 6 September, Baba and the women left Satara for Meherazad. A large meeting had been scheduled at Meherabad exclusively for men. 1,000 Indians and 20 from the West were expected. Prior to this, a large public darshan had been arranged at Vadia Park in Ahmednagar on 12 September. The darshan was open to all, and many from out of town came, including Arnavas, Khorshid, and Katie from Bombay. Godavari Mai, Upasni Maharaj's chief woman disciple, was also present from Sikori. Baba gave darshan and distributed prasad until 6 p.m. For the first time, Baba permitted Mehra and his other close women mandali to witness the program from a distance. They arrived at Wadia Park from Meherazad around noon and retired to a pavilion near the stands. The Bombay group brought sandwiches, which were spread out picnic style on a large table, and Mehra and the others stood eating. Toward late afternoon, a message came that Baba wanted Mehra and the women on stage. There was a break in the prasad distribution. The crowd was dispersing, and not many were near the dais. Baba stopped giving darshan, and the mandali were told to prevent anyone else from coming on the stage. The few who were there were kept back by volunteers, and the women came on stage for a few minutes. There were no public introductions. Meru looked at Baba, who was smiling at Mehra. You could feel that radiance, that glow emanating from Baba, she recalled. I looked at Baba and thought, I have never seen Baba look so beautiful. He was glowing. He looked so absolutely beautiful. At that moment, one could easily lay down one's life at his feet. Your life was his. You felt that radiance and beauty. It was like Baba turned the key when the darshan was going on, giving his love to his lovers. That is why thousands came. They could feel that love because Baba was giving it to them. He was actually opening out. It was for them to take, to receive it. Mehra and then each of the women mandali took Baba's darshan very quickly, received prasad, and left. Baba did not want them to linger on the stage. Baba was full of garlands, and his cheeks were pink, Mehra remembered. He looked tired but radiant. We stayed at Wadia Park for some time and then returned to Meherazad. Baba came home later. This was the only time that Mehra and the women mandali were ever permitted to appear in public and take Meher Baba's darshan. Godavari Mai was seated at Baba's feet. It was the first time Mehra had seen Godavari Mai, but she did not remember her face since they did not speak to each other. Mehra simply glanced at her without speaking. We were so surrounded and guarded Meru explained. It was as if it were just for Baba and us for that short space of time. And Mehera's focus, as always, was on Baba. Thus began the period known as the 3 incredible weeks. Baba drove to Meherabad daily to see the Western men. He left Meherzad early, up by 7 a.m. So Mehera and the other women woke extra early. We had to be up at 5:30 a.m., Mehera remembered. Baba washed, had his tea, went to Meherabad, and returned in the evening. Baba never kept his hair open in those days. He was getting older and didn't like it open. The hairs flew in the breeze, and it was hard to keep tidy. Only now, when the Westerners came in 1954, did he tell me to leave his hair open. On 16 September, the Western group was brought to Meherzad, where they were given a tour and taken up Seclusion Hill. Rano and Goher escorted them around the women's side and showed them Baba's room upstairs. But only one elderly member of the group, Will Backett, was permitted to meet Mehera. Mehera had met Will's wife, Mary, when the couple stayed in Nasik in 1933. She had seen Mary in Cannes and again in London in 1952. Baba himself brought Will to the back of the house near the kitchen. He called Mehera and she stepped outside. Baba introduced Will to her. Even though Will was 75 years old, Mehera was a bit nervous about meeting him. When she spoke to him, she did not look at him and speak directly. She spoke by looking at Baba as if Will were far away, and she spoke in the third person. Mehera is happy to see you, she said. How is Mary? Will proffered some reply. They talked for a few minutes, and then Mehera said, You are very fortunate to have come for Baba's darshan, and she went back inside. Why did Baba permit Will Backett to meet Mehera? Kitty speculated that perhaps it was because the Backetts had always had a chaste relationship, so there was none of the usual husband-wife sanskaras to get in the way. His heart was pure, Kitty stated. After the meetings at Meherabad, Baba returned with all to Satara on 5 October. During that month, Baba stopped using the alphabet board and began relying solely on gestures to convey his thoughts. He made several mosque trips, and in November, to honor the promise he had made to the saint Gaj Maharaj, he went to Pandharpur, a well-known pilgrimage site in Maharashtra, to give darshan and to work with lepers there. From 1 September, Baba began 40 days of special work, during which time he fasted, taking only one meal a day and later only liquids. Another bungalow named Jal Villa was rented. Here Baba worked with Kaikabad, one of the Mandali whom Baba had instructed to meditate on his name. Baba and the women Mandali were given certain dietary restrictions also. The women had breakfast of tea, toast and butter at 7 a.m., and then one meal a day at 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Mani wrote about this period in a letter to Irene Billow on 8 December. As you know, Baba has fasted so often and for long periods in the old days, but now it is not the same. Although these days Baba eats so little, these long fasts plus the intensified work, of course, tell on his health to a great extent. We are praying for the strain of these days to pass and hope this effect will not be bad. He appears to have withdrawn much more perceptively. He has recovered from the accident, although his nose has not quite regained its beautiful shape. Mehera is fine, and the scar on her forehead is hardly noticeable at all. She has no after effect at all, thank God. She is busy all morning in her vegetable garden (parentheses butter beans), and we often bring in the home produce for the table. We have morning tea and chapatis and one meal at 4. Baba always takes on so much himself and will allow us to do so little. And here's a side note about Baba's nose. Nehra agreed. Baba's nose pointed more downwards after the accident.
Do you also have the sidebar above that one?
I do not. Want me to read it here?
Sure.
Mani wrote to the Haflingers 9 November 1954, although Baba has stopped using the alphabet board, one does not miss it somehow, just as his free and eloquent gestures and expressions that never needed words, though often he seems deeply preoccupied and sometimes profoundly sad. His flashes of humor are irrepressible as ever. Nice. Um, Mara's 47th birthday fell on Christmas that year, according to the Zoroastrian calendar, and was celebrated privately. She and the other women filled a Christmas stocking with books for Baba. On Christmas Eve, Nadja dressed up as Santa Claus, and Peter too got into the act. He appeared with a pair of antlers tied around his head to look like a reindeer. Monty and the others decorated a Christmas tree with toys and biscuits. Baba told the women to leave while he called the men to have a look at it. A small black figurine was hanging on the tree, and Baba teased Nilu, who is dark complexioned. It looks just like you, Nilu. Afterwards, Nilu asked Mani rather plaintively, Am I really so dark? Baba often teased Nilu about his complexion, and Mani observed, Nilu was very, very gullible. He would believe anything. Oh my goodness. I think I'll take a little break and then I could read some more. I
Okie
gotta
doke
get a
then.
drink. I gotta get a drink. Water.
Yeah, so we have a sidebar here saying every Christmas at this time, the women and Baba too put on tiny paper hats. One year, instead of a cake, they made a cookie house, elaborately decorated with shredded coconut for snow, with Baba's picture inside. So, um, I'll just reread what this last bit about Nilu. Afterwards, Nilu asked Mani rather plaintively, "Am I really so dark?" Baba often teased Nilu about his complexion, and Mani observed Nilu was very, very gullible. He would believe anything. Mani hemmed and hawed. Well, Nilu, and Nilu says, Baba says I look just like that boy on the tree. Well, you are darker than the other Mandali, Mani answered diplomatically. Meru's sister, Nagu, was attending medical school in Bombay. She sent a telegram saying that the film Gone with the Wind was playing in Bombay and invited the women to come to Bombay for a day to see it. Baba was on a must trip when the telegram arrived, said Meru, but Arnavaz and Nariman's car and driver were in Satara. Nagu knew we had never seen the movie, and Mera had wanted to. Baba was to be gone for several more days, so somehow Goher felt it would be all right if we drove to Bombay to see it. They left on 25 January 1955. We started at 9 for Bombay to Ashiana, Mehra recalled. We saw the picture at the Metro Cinema. We thought Baba would be out for days, but that night we got a telegram that we should return to Satara early the next morning. Baba had just arrived when we came back to Satara. They told Baba about the movie, and he did not mind that they had gone. The sidebar says Baba himself never saw Gone with the Wind. Mani had been reading the book, but she discontinued once she had seen the film and never finished it. Khorshid and her mother, Sunamasi, were living in Bombay, but Khorshid was not well. She was operated on to remove a tumor in her uterus. Neelu was consulted, and Baba gave permission for the operation, sending her this message. Tell Khorshid I am with her 24 hours a day. Because Baba had said he was with her, his Bombay devotees came to sit with Khorshid, even Carmen Masi, who was now quite elderly. Baba is here, so I would like to be in his presence, Carmen Masi explained. Although Baba did not go to Bombay physically, Mehra and Mani visited Khorshid while they were there. When Khorshid recovered, she came to Satara and told Mehra about a recent color film she had seen in Bombay. She described the beautiful Indian dancing, saying, Mehra, you would love it. The film was V. Shantaram's Janak Janak Payal Baaje, meaning jingle of ankle bells. The film came to Satara in April 1956, when Baba was away on must work, and the women went to see it one afternoon. When Baba returned, they told him that it was such a good film, he would enjoy seeing it too. It was his type of movie, Mehra said, and he would relax if he saw it. Baba said, Not here. Later we'll see. Mehra and Mani asked whether they could go again, and Baba gave permission. They saw it a second time with Meru and Naja. Goher and Rano stayed home this time. Skipping ahead, Baba went to Merazad for a month in June 1956 with the women. One day, a note came from Adi Sr. about a film that was playing in town at the Asha Talkies. It is called Janak Janak Payal Baaje. Would Baba like to see it? Adi inquired. Should I arrange it? We were so excited and happy about it, Mehra remembered. We wanted Baba to see it. And there's a couple sidebars here that I'll read. The women of their neighbor's family in Satara, Dobies, who washed clothes, went with them. I guess that was to the Janak Janak Payal movie. Baba did not go to any movies with the women in Satara. Baba, you're in Nagar, Mehra told him. You must go see it. Baba agreed. Adi talked to the theater owner and requested a private showing. The owner refused. After all, the house was packed for every showing. The producer of the film, Shanta Ram, had come for Baba's darshan years before becoming involved in the film industry. Adi contacted him, and Shantaram telephoned the owner to agree to a private showing on 21 June 1956, even bearing the expense of doing so himself. All from Meherzad, Mehrabad, and Ahmednagar attended. The men sat downstairs, and the ladies sat with Baba in the balcony. Mehra on one side of Baba and Mani on the other. And Sidebar says Mehra had asked that Mansari and Kaikobad's family be invited. Baba loved the songs, dances, colors, and bright scenery, Mehra recalled happily, especially the peacock dance. See how beautiful it is, Mehra whispered to Baba at practically every scene. I knew you would like this movie. Picture of at Wadia Park on the Nagar, 12 September 1954. Gadavri Mai, Papa Jesawala, Baba, Waman Padole, Kaka Baria, Rustam Kaka, Sarosh, Erich, Gulmai. And the pictures by Pupal Nursu. So Manu Jesawala, Khorshid Jesawala, Erich's wife, that's Khorshid Jesawala, Mehra and Meru holding Peter and Gulnar. Those are the seated ones. And standing is Rano and Mani. The photos by Gohar or Naja, courtesy of Meru. Mehra with Peter. In Mahabaleshwar, 1954. Baba looking somewhat weary with the coterie of women Mandali and visitors, I guess. Let's see
Oh,
who.
that one's not in the first edition book. It's a
Oh,
new one.
okay.
Can I see it again?
Sure. It's Nagu and Khorshid Jesawala on the left.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
and Gunatai Gadakar on the right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means extreme right or just above Baba's head. We don't know.
Yeah.
Don't you agree Baba looks weary?
For sure. Yeah.
No.
He does. Of course, it might have been like 110 or something.
Even 120.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit more chipper looking here with Mehera. Got different slippers on too that
Hmm.
covers the
I
front
wonder
of
if
it.
those were the handmade ones that they mentioned.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. Of soft leather, right? That's
Hmm.
in Mahabaleshwar, 1954.
Hmm. Yeah, I got that photo. He looks good there.
Mira's birthday in Satara, 25 December 1955.
Yeah.
Pictured by Mani. Okay, are you ready to continue a bit? You could be the
Sure.
last reader.
Hmm. Burial instructions. Chapter 121. In Satara, Mayor Baba's 61st birthday in February 1955 was celebrated privately at Grafton. Mehra described it in a letter to Doon. On the 11th, according to the Parsi calendar, we celebrated Baba's birthday here. Baba wore a pink coat and he looked very lovely in it. We put your pretty embroidered dolly in front where Baba sat at the table, and we told Baba it was a gift from you. Accept Baba's and my love also. Mara had first written accept mine in Baba's love, but she crossed this out and put Baba's name first.
So
Dune's
that was sorry to interrupt. A doily. You know what those are? They're like little circular lace things.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, Dune's sister Roshan had made a dress for Mehra that she wore that day. Mehra fashioned a green and gold turban from a sari which Baba wrapped around his head. 7 candles were placed on Baba's birthday cake, and he told one of the women to blow them out. Vishnu's cousin Shushila, a student in Satara, was permitted to visit the women mandali every Saturday. Indu Snubness, a girl who had stayed with the women in Mysore, was now married to the owner of a phonograph record shop in Sangamner. She too visited the women and brought a few records. Mehra had requested a particular Hindi song, which she was able to find. Baba was gone for a week in March, and on 24 April he convened a meeting in Satara of his close followers to give certain instructions for the coming 3 months. At the meeting, Baba announced that he would be in seclusion during this period. About the mandali he observed, everyone has his defects, but I only look to the love they have for me. A list of instructions was circulated, and for the first time publicly, Baba mentioned the dropping of his body and burial instructions for himself and his close circle. If and when Baba's body is dropped within the 3 months, then the ladies at Grafton to be informed at once, and along with them the body to be removed to Meherabad and buried there in the presence of Mehra. in the tomb specially constructed for this purpose long ago. As long as Mehera remains alive, all the other ladies concerned shall continue to live with Mehera. When Mehera dies, she is to be buried next to and to the right side of Baba's tomb, on Baba's right-hand side. In all other respects, the ladies and resident mandali to do what they think best according to the means and facilities available to them. The instructions drawn up for the women at Grafton were: Mehera and Mani shall call on Baba at Jal Villa once every week during the 3 months of May, June, and July 1955. Goher shall not call at Jal Villa unless when called by Baba. 3. Goher, if not available, then Rano shall immediately inform Erich or Vishnu or Pendu to inform Baba at once of serious illness, accident, etc. to the ladies, and to either Sheba or Peter at Grafton. 4. If the existing arrangements do not continue after the period of 3 months, then the ladies are to fall upon the reserve amount kept aside and pull on accordingly. Same as above shall apply to Sheba and Peter at Grafton. Baba will decide himself if his body is not dropped as to where the ladies will stay after the period of 3 months. In the case of death among the ladies, the body is to be removed to Meherabad and buried on the hill there as follows: Mehera's next to and to the right side of Baba's tomb. Naja next to Mehera's and to the right side of Baba's tomb. Meru next to Naja's and to the right side of Baba's tomb. Mani's next to and to the left side of Baba's tomb. Goher's next to Mani's and to the left side of Baba's tomb. Rano next to Goher's and to the left side of Baba's tomb. The order of the burial was later changed, although Mildred Kyle was not specifically mentioned here. Baba decided that she too could be buried on Meherabad Hill, and her ashes were interred near the tomb a few months later in November 1955. Baba asked each of the women mandali to sign a letter stating that if Baba dropped his body, they would continue to live with Mehera. Mehera was probably not told about what was drawn up in Satara, Goher concluded. She would have felt very upset at the thought of Baba dropping his body before her. She learned about it later. Later, when a circular was issued about a great calamity coming, and Baba saying he was going to drop his body, the circular was not shown to Mehera. Anything concerning Baba's health or dropping of his body was not told to her. For the next 3 months, Baba remained in seclusion at Jal Villa. The women continued to prepare his food and tea and sent it to his bungalow. As Baba outlined, every Thursday, Goher accompanied Mehera and Mani from Grafton and stood outside Jal Villa as they went inside. On 1 June, Baba took all the women, Mehera, Mani, Meru, Goher, Naja, and Rano, for a day-long picnic to Mahabaleshwar. On the 19th, Baba played a game of cricket with the mandali and a few select lovers at Uttara, 12 miles from Satara. Sidebar: the game held added significance when Mayor Baba met with a second automobile accident near the spot a year and a half later. Baba's brother Bayram was one of those called for the match. According to Mehera, all of his brothers, Baba loved Bayram the best. Bayram was living with his family at Baba House in Pune. He was a photographer and reproduced pictures of Baba for his followers. Once in Satara, Bayram brought a few copies of a photo of Baba as a boy with his cricket team. Baba distributed a copy to each and told Bayram to give money 2 copies for Mehra. I don't know why Baba told me to take 2 copies, Mehra said, still puzzled. One of them I still have in my cupboard. I didn't have the sense to ask Baba why I should take 2 of the same picture. The other copy was framed and now hangs by Mehra's bed at Mehrazad.
Excuse me, Deb.
Mhm.
There is a sidebar that I don't think you have in your book, but here it is on the online version.
Okay.
Do you see
On
it? Yeah.
Yep,
Mhm.
on 30 April, the night Baba entered seclusion at Jal Villa, the women Mandali at Grafton, like the men, fasted and kept awake until midnight. Their usual bedtime was 9 p.m. All right. So you want to keep reading or should we call it a day?
Let's call it a day, and we'll pick up here next
Okay,
week
again.
at
Again.
page 100 and top of page 141.
Okay. You look a lot like Baba when he was young and very, very thin.
Oh my goodness.